Good morning and welcome. We are in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the HIR Wellness Institute's dance studio. My name is Kristin and I'm a trauma center, trauma-sensitive yoga facilitator. Also with me today is Xavier Smart. He is a mental health professional and he's helping answer any questions in the comment section. And he'll be with us during the whole session today. So today, thought we might talk a little bit about what trauma-sensitive yoga is and how it can help with being able to talk with someone like a therapist about your traumatic experiences. And then maybe we'll do a little bit of practice so you can get a sense of what this style of yoga is like. And then we'll kind of wrap up with some time for questions at the end. So again, I'm Kristin Sutter, and HIR Wellness Institute offers mental health services and wellness programming for people who are Indigenous and people who are in underserved communities. So there's a lot of programming here that is available through Facebook Live. If you haven't already, maybe check out the Facebook Live or the HIR Wellness Institute Facebook page. You'll see there's something going on every day remotely that you can interact with if that's something that's interesting to you. And then there's a 24-hour hotline that you can call if there's ever something coming up for you that you'd like to talk with someone about. So that's the CARES line, and Xavier will put up the information for that. So that you can call anytime you feel like you might need to talk with someone or might need some ideas about how to access some resources to help navigate some challenges that might be coming up for you. The services at HIR Wellness Institute are provided free of charge for people who are victims of crime. So if you're able to take one of the surveys that Xavier posts up, that can help us better understand what's going on for people who want services and adapt the programming to fit everyone's needs. So if you haven't already, or if you have time today, maybe consider taking one of those surveys. It's very helpful. So again, good morning. Feel free to take some time to settle in. If you do want to participate in some movement after we chat for a little bit, you might find like a sturdy chair to sit in. Maybe recommend something without wheels, and if possible, maybe something that's not overly cushy, which can make it sometimes a little bit hard for you to notice kind of what's going on in your body because the chair might be kind of absorbing a lot of your movement. So that's optimal, but if all you have is a cushy chair, cool, we'll go with it. So feel free to find your way to sitting. And maybe at the beginning here, we'll just do a little bit of movement to start. So if you'd like, you might find your feet underneath you. So maybe bringing your feet flat on the floor. And then in your chair, it's your choice if you'd like to sit toward the front, or some people prefer to sit more toward the back. So it's your choice how you want to sit in your chair. And it's also your choice if you'd like to rest your hands with your palms down or maybe with your palms up. So your choice. As you're here, you might notice your feet in contact with the floor, maybe noticing your sitting bones in contact with the chair. If you'd like, we might start by bringing some movement to our feet. So one way to do that might be to tap your toes, or maybe tapping your heels, or both, if you'd like. Maybe tapping your toes and your heels. If you prefer, you could even look at your feet and see how they're moving. As you're moving here, maybe noticing some sensation on the bottom of your feet. Maybe noticing some sensation in like your calf muscles. So feel free to explore that movement for as long as you like. And then whenever you're ready, maybe we could bring our feet back to stillness. Maybe coming back to neutral, so maybe a neutral sitting shape. From here, I thought we might explore some shoulder movements. So one way to do that might be to bring both of your shoulders up at the same time and down at the same time. So that's one possibility, maybe bringing both shoulders up at the same time and down at the same time. Another option might be to bring one shoulder up and down, and then the other shoulder up and down. So it's your choice how you want to explore movement in your shoulders here. Maybe we'll explore for a few rounds. As you're moving, you might notice some sensation in your shoulders. Maybe noticing some sensation where your neck and shoulders meet. And then whenever you're ready, we can meet with our shoulders back in stillness, maybe coming back to neutral. And I thought we might try one more shape here before we get into a bit of discussion. Thought maybe we'd explore some neck movements. So one way to do that might be to bring your chin toward your torso. When you're ready, maybe moving your neck to one side. And then in your own time, maybe bringing your chin back toward your torso. And if you'd like, moving your neck to the other shoulder. So some people like to continually move here in this U shape, kind of rolling your neck maybe side to side. And other people like to hang out on one side for a while, and then maybe eventually moving to the other side. So you're in charge of how you want to explore some neck movement today. Maybe trying one shape and hanging out in it for a while, or you might continually move side to side. You might notice some sensation in your neck. Maybe noticing some sensation where your neck and your head meet. Maybe noticing here if your breath is moving. Whenever you feel like you've completed what you wanted to try in that shape, maybe we could meet with our heads back in line with our spines, coming back to neutral. Noticing maybe if your breath is moving. So I just wanted to take a little time today to explain what this style of yoga is and talk a little bit about how it can help in talk therapy, or if you're choosing to maybe process kind of what happened for you out loud with maybe someone you trust or in a group that you trust. So when we talk about trauma-sensitive yoga or trauma-centered, trauma-sensitive yoga, we're talking about the kind of trauma that happens in relationships. So things like physical, emotional, sexual abuse, or neglect. And when we experience that kind of trauma in relationships, especially in an ongoing way, our brains and our bodies adapt to that in some pretty specific ways in order to help us survive. So this style of yoga was designed to really look at how do our brains and bodies adapt to that, and how do we address those adaptations in a way that help us on a day-to-day basis kind of come back to our own self and come back to understanding ourself and having our own sense of power. So when our bodies and brains adapt in those traumatic situations, those adaptations are brilliant in that they keep us alive. But day to day can make it very hard for us to even just get through the day. Sometimes we might be really hypervigilant about maybe something bad might happen, or we might not be able to stop thinking about really traumatic things that have happened to us. We might have a really hard time being present. We might also have a really hard time building strong and healthy relationships. And we know that strong and healthy relationships are the major indicator of our health and our happiness throughout our lives. So in this style of yoga, we do some key things to really address those adaptations. One is we practice making choices so that as an individual, we start to learn that like it's my choice what I want to do with my body. We start to work together. So you'll notice that as the facilitator, I practice with you. And that component is there to help us start to build a trusting relationship where you know that someone can share space with you and can share an experience with you in a way where you're not being in any way coerced into doing something you don't want to do, and you're not being neglected. So we start to work together in order to build that trust, which can help us start to understand like where are my boundaries in relationships. And another key thing that we do is called interoception. So interoception is noticing internal states, what's going on inside my body. And that's things like, am I hungry? Am I tired? But it can also be things like, do I trust this person? Am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling happy? So our bodies actually are the indicators for us what emotions that we're feeling. So when we practice interoception, we start to get an understanding of like, what is going on for me? And what do I want to do about it? The other thing that interoception helps with is to help us to start to feel safe in our body. For some of us, when we experience trauma in relationships, our body and mind's way of coping with what was happening was to dissociate or leave our body. And so this can be a way to kind of start to come back into our body in a way that feels safe. Start to notice sensation in your body at a pace that feels safe for you. So there's that piece as well. So when we talk about, well, how can doing this style of yoga help with being in talk therapy or talking with a trusted individual about what's happened to us, that interoceptive piece is key. So first we have to talk about traumatic memory. So the way that your brain sort of processes and stores traumatic events is different from how it stores day-to-day stuff. Like you could maybe tell me that, you know, how you woke up today and maybe what you did between when you woke up and now. Whereas when something traumatic happens to us, in order to sort of help protect our brain and our body from being too overwhelmed and so terrified that we can't function, it stores that information in different parts of our brain and kind of as different impressions. So it might store it as a physical sensation, might store it as a picture or a color or a scent. So these kind of fragmented ways of keeping that information in our body and in our brain, but in a way that won't overwhelm us consciously. So on one hand, that way of storing that traumatic information is really brilliant because then the alarm center in our brain, the lower part of our brain that like reacts to things that are dangerous to us before our conscious mind is even aware of them, that part of the brain can remember like this situation is dangerous. These things can kind of maybe signal danger. But then we're also maybe able to kind of go on day to day and work our way through things. So when we understand traumatic memory is sort of stored as these fragments, the other important thing to know is that the brain, when it's storing those, bypasses the part of your brain that can verbally process what has happened to you. It intentionally puts things in your brain in a way that you can't talk about it. And so if you've ever felt like I can't talk about what's happened to me, or if you've ever heard someone say that I can't talk about it, is literally because there's the part in your brain, it's called the Broca's area, that all of those memories and all of that awareness are not going through that verbal processing center. So when we start to notice internal states, we can start to access those fragmented pieces of memory. Sometimes we can access those sensations that help us understand like what is going on for me internally, and therefore be able to tell a therapist or someone we trust, like, I'm noticing these sensations, or I'm remembering these smells, or I'm remembering these like images that I hadn't before. So all of that can help recover those experiences and process them through that verbal processing center, and be able to talk with someone about what's happened. And talking through with someone about what's happened to us can be a great way to heal for people who want to have that experience of being able to understand what's maybe happened from a different perspective. So I know that's a lot of information in a very short amount of time. If you have any questions, please feel free to put those up now. Also know that Xavier is available to you. He's just on the comment section. He's watching anything that's coming through. So if me talking about that brought up anything for you that you'd like to talk through with someone, Xavier is here for that too. So know that you can, and even if you'd rather not put that in the comment section, you might even just say, hey, can we talk about this privately? And Xavier can give you some info about how to contact HIR Wellness Institute to be able to talk to someone privately too. So any questions coming through? Not so far. So yeah, from here, feel free to, if you think of something, write it. I thought we might move into a little bit of movement here, and then have a little time again at the end for questions. So if you'd like to try this, again, it's trauma sensitive yoga, or TCTSY for short. So if you'd like to come back to sitting, maybe bringing your feet flat on the floor, maybe resting your hands on your legs. And it's your choice if you'd like to rest your hands with your palms down or your palms up. Maybe starting to notice where your feet and your body are in contact with any surfaces that are supporting you. From here, maybe we might try some arm movements. So when you're ready, maybe taking your arms into a T in your own time, bringing your hands toward the ceiling. If you'd like, reaching your fingertips to the ceiling. And when you're ready, maybe bringing your hands together in front of your heart. So I thought we might try this sequence a few times, going at your own pace here, maybe taking your arms into a T. When you're ready, bringing your hands to the ceiling. If you'd like, reaching your fingertips to the ceiling. And when you're ready, maybe bringing your hands together in front of your heart. Maybe a few more times here, taking your arms into a T. When you're ready, bringing your hands to the ceiling. If you'd like, reaching your fingertips to the ceiling. And in your own time, bringing your hands together in front of your heart. Maybe one more time, taking your arms into a T. When you're ready, bringing your hands to the ceiling. If you'd like, reaching your fingertips to the ceiling. And whenever you're ready, bringing your hands together in front of your heart. Maybe noticing here where your feet are in contact with the floor. Maybe noticing where your sitting bones are in contact with the chair. Maybe noticing if your breath is moving. From here, I thought we might explore a forward fold. So one way to do that might be to sit toward the back of your chair. Another option might be to move a little bit toward the front. So it's your choice how you want to sit in your chair. When you're ready, you might bring your hands to your knees. And if you'd like, you might lengthen your spine. In your own time, maybe bending your elbows and folding forward. So when you fold forward, it's your choice how far you want to fold. So some people fold like a quarter of the way. Some people might like to fold sort of halfway. Some people might like to bring their head toward their feet. So it's your choice how far you want to fold. Whenever you're ready, making your way back to a vertical spine. So noticing maybe any sensation and coming back to neutral. From here, I thought we might try that fold and incorporate some arm movements too. So if you'd like, maybe bringing your hands to the ceiling. In your own time, taking your arms into a T. And when you're ready, folding forward. How far you fold is your choice. If you'd like, scooping your hands to the floor, bringing your palms together. When you're ready, bringing your hands to the ceiling. Maybe reaching through your fingertips. And as you're ready, bringing your hands together in front of your heart. So maybe a couple more times we might try this. When you're ready, taking your hands to the ceiling. In your own time, bringing your arms into a T. If you'd like, folding forward. How far you fold is your choice. When you're ready, scooping your hands toward the floor, maybe bringing your palms together. And then in your own time, bringing your hands to the ceiling, maybe reaching your fingertips to the ceiling. And when you're ready, bringing your hands together in front of your heart. Maybe one more time, bringing your hands to the ceiling. If you'd like, taking your arms into a T shape. When you're ready, folding forward. How far you fold is your choice. If you'd like, scooping your hands to the floor. When you're ready, bringing your hands to the ceiling. Maybe reaching your fingertips to the ceiling. And in your own time, maybe bringing your hands together in front of your heart. Maybe noticing what it feels like in your body to be in this shape. Maybe noticing if your breath is moving. And from here, I thought we might come into the resting sequence that we do at the end of a yoga session. So it's your choice if you'd like to sit toward the front of your chair or maybe shifting toward the back of your chair. Maybe noticing your feet in contact with the floor. Maybe taking a breath into the lowest part of your abdomen. Whenever you're ready, exhaling. If you'd like, taking a breath into the space under your ribs. Whenever you're ready, exhaling. Maybe taking a breath into the space around your heart. Whenever you're ready, exhaling. Maybe we'll rest quietly here for just a few moments. You can always adjust at any time for any reason. And in just a few moments, I'll guide us out. Whenever you're ready, bringing small movements into your fingers and toes. Maybe rotating your wrists. And if there's any way of moving that feels left unfinished, feel free to move in any way you'd like right now. And you kind of waking up stretch. Whenever you're ready, we could meet back in sitting. If you'd like, bringing your hands together. And if you'd like, you might join me at the end of every yoga session. It's traditional to say namaste, which is Sanskrit, and it translates to the awareness in me, sees and honors the awareness in you. In gratitude for our practice together today, namaste. Thank you very much for joining us today. Again, we have some time for questions. So if you have any, feel free to send those to Xavier in the comment section and he'll let me know. So upcoming in the next couple weeks here, we're still getting details figured out, but we'll continue to do these Facebook Live sessions where we'll have a bit of this yoga practice, this TCTSY style yoga practice. And then if you'd like, there's also going to be a private group Zoom class that you can register for, and that's free for people who are victims of crime. So the private group Zoom class will be more like a 45-minute yoga practice, and it will be the option for anyone who joins to turn their video on or keep it off. So for people who are maybe missing that sense of community and want to just see other faces and maybe practice with other people, you could join that class and have your video on, or you can choose to be in the class with your video off as well. Either way, you'll be able to see me, and then Xavier or another mental health professional will also be on that practice, so that if anything comes up for you during the session that you'd like to talk through with someone, you'll be able to talk to that person right then and there in class. So if you're interested in that, it's free to register, and Xavier will put up the information for contacting Jamie to register for that series that we'll do coming up in the next few weeks. It's still TBD, but we're excited about it. So yeah, and don't forget, there's the CARES line. If anything came up for you today that you'd like to talk with someone about, or if any time during the week something comes up, that CARES line is always available to you. And if it's relevant for you and you haven't already filled out a survey for victims of crime, that if you're able to do that, it's a huge help for us. So, any questions?
Can kids do this type of yoga?
Yeah, good question. So the question is, can kids do this type of yoga? Absolutely. In a kids class, we might typically tailor it a little bit differently for attention spans, but there's no reason, especially every parent knows their kid well, right? You know, and it's like, if you think this is something they'd be interested in, absolutely they can join. And a lot of people I practice with, before COVID, I was practicing with a lot of people in home, and often kids would join in and they'd kind of come and go from the mat, but sometimes they stuck with it the whole time, which for a kid to do like 30 minutes or an hour of that is a long time. And sometimes the kids even led the class, which was awesome. So absolutely they can practice. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you again so much for joining. If you think of any questions after we wrap up, feel free to send them to the info Xavier is posting right now. And if you'd like to register for that private Zoom class, you're absolutely welcome. Look for the registration info for Jamie, her email address. So we'll be here next Sunday with another Facebook Live, and then yeah, Sundays at 10. So take good care, and we hope to see you soon.